And greetings, my dear fantasistas. Um, Welcome back. And with the Cologne, actual Cologne starting in less than 24 hours. And unfortunately, not all teams are known yet. However, we can already predict the majority of the results and which team's gonna advance straight away. With the unfortunate events for Cloud9 and Axel not attending the first part of the actual event, and maybe not attending the event at all, depending on if Cloud9 will manage to qualify for the playoffs without him. Um, so, yeah, let's just have a look at the matchups, have a look at the prices of the players, and decide what we want to build. Just looking at the Group A, um, straight away it feels like Heroic have a pretty easy path to the upper final. Um, Potential opening game against Furia, Nine Liquid, Apex, OG, or Ninjas Imperial. They all are beatable, so I don't think that Heroic will have any difficulties in the first game. Game of Legion against Monte. Um, Game of Legion lineup right now looks like a proper tier 2 team, so even though I don't like Monte and I wasn't really sure that they're gonna uh, advance to the actual Cologne event. However, they surprised. Actually, it wasn't them who surprised. It was Furia who surprised how bad they performed on the third map and how the hell they managed to play the map that they already have a history of losing pretty much with the same result. I don't know, but it is what it is. Furia kind of screwed up, but what can we do? Nothing. And yeah, in this matchup, have to go with Monte, even though I'd prefer Game of Legion to win. In general, I like the Neon Edition. I think that's well, it's not an upgrade to Shuhi, but it's probably the best replacement they could have gotten for this type of money. Vault on the other side, not even close to IEM. So with all this said, Monte most likely gonna advance, and Heroic gonna face Monte, and Heroic just gonna demolish them. I don't see how Monte is gonna get more than 10 rounds on any of the maps. Um, Current Heroic are quite scary, especially uh, in the group stages. So Heroic is my first team that's gonna advance to the final. And now we go to the lower side of the bracket. Cloud9 against Fnatic. Um, Looks like I was right regarding Fnatic and Mezzi playing the star roles. However, Roach wasn't even bad, and Cloud9 um, with booster instead of Exile. Um, Still, I have the probably odds on the side of the Cloud9. Mm, just by looking at one-to-one comparison, uh, Cloud9 have the advantage on every single position. Uh, Maybe Buster is kind of losing. However, you're not going to be comparing Buster to Crims. You most likely will be comparing Buster to Dexter because in one-to-one they're not really playing the similar roles, but at the end of the day, they are kind of well the dead weight of the team. Um, Opus, well, obviously, 117 rating doesn't reflect the real stats. Shiro is miles ahead of Afro. Um, in terms of Hobbit against Mezzi or Electronic against Mezzi, that's a questionable comparison. However, uh, in the current state, I still have to go with Electronic or Hobbit. Like even though Mezzi is upgrading pretty fast. Mm, And even though they're not gonna have Exile, I still gonna give a slight advantage to Cloud9. So for me, this matchup gonna be like 55 to 45 for the Cloud9. it's gonna be probably the most interesting one. Now ends. I don't know what's happening with the all of these people that have no faith in ends, but I'm probably complete opposite. I believe that ends most likely gonna be the second team to reach the upper final, and it doesn't really matter which team they're gonna face, Fury and whatever. Uh, at this stage, they are the last team who won the event before the player break. They had no change. They only developed their strat book. And if we look at their prices, you'll be pretty surprised how cheap they are. Um, Sunpias is the most expensive player. Nerds is slightly over 202k. For me, they both are great pickups, just amazing pickups, and they are playing the star roles, right? Uh, Ence is mostly playing around Sunpire's frags, and Nurse is great at lurking, right? So he's finding those essential frags. So for me, again, it doesn't matter who they're gonna face. Most likely they're gonna advance, and in a matchup, Cloud9 most likely versus Ence, um, gonna be a close match. Most likely all three maps, but at the end of the day, um, Ents will probably have the slight advantage. There's gonna without Exile, this is 50-50. With Exile, I would give like 51 to 49% to Ents. But still, at this stage, I will give that chance to go through to Ents. And Ents against Heroic, this is gonna be probably a very hard match for both of the teams. And the map pool is pretty similar. So I'm expecting all three maps, and at the end of the day, let the best team win. I cannot predict which team gonna win at this point. Um, Lower bracket, I don't think it's actually that important to look at the lower bracket. However, probably the winner of the lower bracket final is Cloud9, because I don't see any other team that's gonna go all the way. Most likely, Cloud9 will be facing either Fnatic once again or Monte or one of the teams that's going to qualify right now. Uh, Potentially, I believe that Apex can qualify, and I still have faith in Nine. So this is the Group A for me. Uh, so if I have to predict three teams, once again, Heroic, and most likely Cloud9, so we can see actual lineup in a Cologne playoff. Now, Group B. Vitality and FaZe don't have the opening matches yet. However, let's have a look, and we can clearly see that there is no team that will have the advantage in a matchup for FaZe or Vitality. So, in my book, FaZe and Vitality both gonna advance to the semifinals. And now we're gonna talk about Navi and Mouse. Um, Mouse were actually quite surprising, even though the first game, Torzi had to go all the way to the carry mode and show that he's worth being in the Mouse roster. Um, it ends up that Xerxion was quite underwhelming. Jinfa was okay. Frozen was a beast in the second game. Shui did what he was supposed to do, right? On the other side, we have Navi with the questionable calls, and this matchup is probably going to be 50-50. However, I prefer to see some upsets, and I'd love to see Mouse beating Navi. So Vitality versus Mouse. That's my first upper semifinal. Um, Now Vitality against Mouse matchup. Uh, I'd love to see more upsets, but I think Vitality will be working really hard towards actually being number one team and maintaining the championship team status with obviously the addition of a new player. And at this point, I think they're gonna go straight to the upper final, and Mars gonna drop down. Now G2 versus Astralis. G2. Um, for me, somehow it feels that this might be the last event for Hoxie. Um, Maybe it's not about the result that G2 gonna get, but more about Hoxie himself. He definitely doesn't feel confident in his shoes right now. He doesn't feel that his team fully trusts him, and this is probably where mm, all the mistakes come from. And I'll go first, you trade me, and then he goes first, he dies, but people aren't able to trade him and all that stuff, right? Um, However, we still see some glimpses of Huxley being decent player once in a while. Maybe it's better for him to return to tier 2 and develop some young talent. Maybe that's going to be the best option, right? And G2 probably need another IGL, which will be pretty hard to find. So, in this matchup, even though G2 is 4th, Astralis is 12th, I like the way Astralis is playing right now. I like the development, and I gonna pick Astralis in this one. Now, FaZe versus whoever is gonna qualify. Once again, FaZe just added Neo as a temporarily coach, I guess, and I don't think they're gonna face any issues in the first game, unless it's gonna be Furia, and in that case, it's still FaZe has advantage. So, FaZe against Astralis, gonna be interesting. And as I already mentioned, I'm expecting quite a few upsets over here at the Cologne planes, not the planes, but the group stage. And this potentially can be one of them as well. But I'd prefer FaZe to go through and meet Vitality in a final. And obviously, in a final matchup, once again, we have no idea what's going to happen. Lower bracket matchups, Navi most likely going to beat whoever they're going to face. Then they're going to face the winner of the mm, Astralis. Oh no, actually, yeah, they're going to face the loser of this. So it's going to be probably Astralis. And then they're going to face the winner of this, which most likely going to be, I'd say, Mouse again. So potentially we have another rematch, Navi against Mouse, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mouse beat them once again, if they actually beat them. So now let's confirm the teams. So Heroic, ENCE, Cloud9, Vitality, Mouse, FaZe. These are 6 teams that I believe uh, are the ones that most likely going to be advancing to the playoffs. Mm, Now let's go straight to the team building. Um, mm, where is it? Event overview. Oh, okay, that was the saved one. Just so I don't forget. And details. Here we go. Okay, so this doesn't affect playoffs. There will be a separate one for the playoffs. So let's go. Uh, if you're paying attention to the video, then you obviously saw the lineup that I had pre-built, and I don't think I'm gonna make any changes because once again, right? Um, if we look at this side of the bracket, Heroic are definitely the team that's gonna be a favorite, and with their prices, Jabi most likely has to be picked, right? Um, then Nerds and Sunpias for me, and 377 left. Kerrigan, and unfortunately, I have only money for Rain, 204. Mm, but, but, I can do it this way. I can take Diha, and then I should have enough money for twists. Am I happy with this lineup? Um, Not the most perfect lineup, but at least I have the percentage of going to a top 5, top 10, which at this state is more than enough. So this is the first version of the lineup with the Jabi just gain the frags, and most likely he will farm all the way. And Sanpayas being the primary carry of Ents, and Diha kinda being the second guy in the team. Unfortunately, he doesn't really carry that much, but he's been relevant, and he's always playing around the same level. However, Nerds is 111, so probably slightly better odds. Twist on the other side uh, might be OP pick right now. Mm. If we look at his stats, matches, the previous games that he had, like 146, 125, 165, 145. His rating is insane recently, right? Yes, he had a couple of bad games against Ents exactly. That was over a month ago. But since they returned, he was consistent and he's putting 1.3 rating approximately. So 1.3 rating is more than enough for me to pick him. On the other side, we have a look at the Kerrigan, who has been individually not really the greatest player ever, but he's doing his job, right? And once again, we look at the bracket and we see that there's probably going to be Astralis. And in Astralis matchup, um, there's a good chance that he's going to tank his stats, but still that's going to be enough for them to advance, right? On the other side, there's going to be Apex. They're going to be, well, traded all over the place. Once again, similar life as a Kerrigan, but it is what it is. Um, Probably the other option is to pick Snappy. Um, let's say Snappy instead of Diha. Uh, but Snappy is 182, and then we have 190k left, which is not enough to get a good player and get an upgrade in that position. Uh, Neither of these is acceptable. So um, I was considering picking Electronic um, for the second option of this lineup um, without Jabi. So uh, this was supposed to be like that, or like that, and it was supposed to be Kerrigan once again. So this was supposed to be the other option, but um, because of the Exile missing, Electronic most likely will play in the star role positions and not only the IGL, right? So he will be gain frags, right? In the game versus Fnatic, I don't know what we're gonna expect, but there's 3k left, and if we have to consider electronic over Jabi, then at current stage, I still have to pick Jabi. Um, the other thing is that I can replace twists with Robs and still have 190k left. Maybe it's worth it, but then I can try to pick Snappy and try to upgrade Kerrigan, but it doesn't really change much, right? Um, so unfortunately, is what it is, and Kerrigan, and it has. Actually, I can pick Maiden instead. I can pick Maiden instead of Snappy. Mm, is it worth it of picking Maiden instead of Snappy and sacrificing uh, Diha? I don't know. Uh, Maiden is a great guy. He's a good player, but he's playing the kinda the roles of a supportive element, so he isn't really getting that many frags. When Diha on the other side is gain everything that potentially he needs, right? So 199k left, just enough for Diha. Well, I'd love to pick Nurse, but this time I have to go for Diha. And yeah, this is what I end up with. Uh, Not the most uh, highlighting team, but is what is. Um, Here we go. So the reason I'm not gonna pick the IGL role is because right now IGL role is kind of killed. It's kind of dead because the team has to win 2-0 to get the maximum points, which is kind of unfair because if they just win, they get 2 points, and when they lose, they get -5 points. So just winning is not enough, and that was the whole point of the IGL rule. Uh, so um, Headshot machine for Javi as always. Diha assists, most likely yes. So once again, this is my lineup. That's what I think regarding the matchups and the potential results. And as always, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.